Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another video from Lee, the Dorset Spur. Today, I'm giving my match reaction to the Tottenham versus Everton game yesterday, and how different does it feel after a win? Well, honestly, after last week's disappointment on Monday of the 1-1 draw against Everton, against Leicester, obviously, um, the world felt very, very gloomy and miserable. But a 4-0 win against Everton, and everything everything looks a little bit different. Everything feels a little bit different. Everything feels a little bit happier, and we can go on for a week without having to hold our heads down and be miserable, and so on. So listen, really good game, great score. Great to see that we didn't concede a goal, which is something that I didn't think we would see. My prediction was a 3-1 win, so totally rubbish, as always. But you have to say there was lots and lots of positives in that game. So for me, I think unbelievable goal from Bissouma. Um, Big Ange joked at the end of the game that maybe he should ban him every other game to kind of put in a performance like that. But in all seriousness, we've been waiting for that kind of performance from him. He was so much better than he's been. He was everywhere on the pitch. He was working hard, and to top it off with his first game for the club, and what a goal that was! Unbelievable, and you can see that meant a lot. And he acknowledged his poor behaviour with the fans and with the manager, scoring that goal. I've got to be honest with you. When I was watching it, I was I was worried that we were going back down the same old thing of tippy tappy too much in the in the box. The way the ball kind of came out, went back in again, and you've got Kulu running across the front of the box, and I'm thinking, oh God, here we go again. Low block, we're going to get stuck. But it needed that little bit of magic to actually open that up and smash it home. Something that we've kind of been waiting for, right in the D, just on the edge of the box. It was absolutely perfect, and the sort of goal you love to see go in. I mean, you can literally hear it hit the back of the net, even on the TV. So, really, really chuffed for that to see that go in, and let's hope that that's going to kind of kickstart his season. That he's going to start really performing, because he needs to, because at various points, certainly during the season and early on, there's been lots of talk about Bissouma maybe moving on. There's lots of fans saying you might as well let him go. He's killed his reputation, and he's obviously a bad egg, and so on. So I don't know. I guess you have to give everybody a chance to see how that's going to pan out. One good game doesn't make a career. So we'll have to see how that kind of pans out. But he showed that he does have the qualities that we need, and with Bentancur being out, that position in there is a key one, because we've only got those two, and potentially Gray picking up that role. So for me, really really chuffed for the lad. It was one of the highlights of the game for me. Of course, moving on, second goal. How important is that in terms of basics for football? Chasing down, never stopping. It's a basic, right? Because you've got to force those errors, and essentially, Son running at Pickford meant that he was made an error. He forced him into that error by running towards him and keeping going, and obviously managed to nick it off his toe. Still had a bit to do. Fair play, he still had a bit to do to put it in there, because it could have quite easily spun off and spooned into the south stand, to be fair. But he didn't, kept his composure and didn't go down, which again he could have done, and that could have given us a penalty maybe. But he kept his composure, and he slotted it home absolutely perfectly to get off the mark for the season. So really happy for him to kind of get that. But it does show that you have to keep making those really hard pressing force of errors on players to actually make that count, because you might not get it every time, but there will be times when something like that will happen, and you're gonna pick up a goal, or a threat at least from that position, and put those people's confidence at risk, which is another aspect of it. We've been talking a lot about Son. We talked about him in the shooting the shit on Tuesday, and the concerns over his poor, kind of, not poor, but poor by his standards, right? So he's not been the player that, that we know he can be. But his running in that game yesterday was excellent. He really put a lot more effort in. Still concerned about him, taking players on, but that wasn't his role yesterday, right? So he's playing down the middle. And I'm going to hold my hands up and say, listen, when I saw the team, I thought, well, Bissouma's back. Well, that ban lasted a long time, so he's well learnt his lesson. And Sonny through the middle, here we go again. Solanke's out, so we're back on relying on Son to be our main striker. But as with most things in football, it shows that your opinions can be your opinions, but it doesn't necessarily make you right. So both of those players did very well yesterday, and showed why Ange made the decision he did to bring Biss back, and to play Sonny down the middle. I know that Richarlison is not fully match fit, and probably that's what's kind of making him have to play that way. But even so, I would have thought that Richarlison would have kind of got on at the start of the game, and maybe took off after sort of 50, 60 minutes maybe. But again, Ange gets paid the money, and he makes those big decisions, and it worked out for him yesterday. So for me, I can't complain. I think it was the right thing to do. Obviously, lots of possession in the game, lots of domination, 71% again. Loads and loads of opportunities. I did want to call out Maddison as well. I thought he had a fairly good game again. Couple of opportunities fell his way, and he just fell a little bit short on that. But I have to say, there was a moment in the game where unbelievable ball from Cutie Romero, who kind of pinged the ball over the top into the run of Maddison, and just a bit of a straight ball at Pickford, who managed to save it back. What a ball from him, and Romero on his 100th game had a really, really good, solid game. His goal again. It's not the amount of times over the course of the last few seasons where I thought to myself, what's the benefit of a corner for us, because we never seem to really do anything with it. But with Romero in the box there, and Richarlison, and I felt that Richarlison did enough to create that little bit of space for Romero to absolutely bury that header. I thought was fantastic. There was only one winner in that, and that was going to be Romero. Like I say, I think Richarlison played his part into the defenders were more concerned about him, being an ex-Evertonian coming, playing against the old club. He does have a good record against them. He does give them a bit of a difficult time for him to be in there, kind of create a little bit of space. But Romero was always going to be the winner on that ball. Bang, 3-0, and the game's done, absolutely done. So yeah, overall brilliant performance from Romero. 100th game, tops it off with a goal, meant a lot for him. But he played a lot of other decent balls in that game. He played a couple of opportunities to get players in and stuff like that. And I thought, from a centre back, playing so high up in the pitch. I mean, he had a really good shot himself as well earlier on in the game. So I have to say he did really, really well yesterday. He didn't make any mistakes at the back either. Didn't hack anybody down. Didn't give any stupid free kicks or anything like that. So fingers crossed. Romero is learning about the Premier League now, and getting right on top of it. But great asset. I mean, I think they said on the commentary, he was the highest scoring defender in the Premier League last season. So, and he's off his mark in game 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't do that again, because he does get himself into some really good positions, and does, works hard for the team, and can see why Ange has him as a backup captain kind of thing. I think he knows what he brings to the team. Anyway, but talking of the defenders, you cannot not talk about Mickey van der Ven and his unbelievable run from the edge of his area all the way up to set up Sonny for his second. Unselfish, really, because I think after running all that way, he might have just kind of had a go himself, because we know he's got that in his locker, right? He can score a goal. But to see him make that run that late in the game at pace, no one can get anywhere near him. And to have the thought of just kind of playing it out wide to Son. To be honest with you, I thought the chance had gone when he played it out, if I'm honest. But Sonny, again, good composure through the keeper's legs, and that was it. 4-0. What a result! One we really, really needed, because I think, had we not won this game, being Everton, then there would have been massive, massive pressure building on Ange, I think, already. And I know it's only game 2, but there is a lot of disgruntled fans out there looking to complain and to moan and to really get on his back. There's a lot of doubters still. And I understand that, bearing in mind where we were after sort of 8 games last season, or 10 games last season, to where we ended up, really, really disappointing. But I think ultimately you've got to stick with, you've got to support your manager when he's in place, and see where it takes you. We've got someone who wants to play the right sort of football, who wants to invest in younger players, bringing younger players into the squad, something for the future, so that we're not one season wonders. Although I'd take a one season wonder, if I'm honest, after so many years of not having good times. But listen, I understand that it's about longevity and it's about long-term success, rather than just winning one League Cup and then kind of disappearing back into the mid-table mediocrity again. And hopefully this is the thing. You've got to have something to believe in. If you haven't got your belief that something good is going to happen, then what's the point? There's no point in going to football or following the team or really getting emotionally attached, as we all do, if you don't have that hope. Because, as they say, it's the hope that kills you. But listen, I think it was a big game for Ange. I think there was a lot of stick going his way already after match week 1. So it did feel that if we didn't win this game, and win this game convincingly, it felt like it was going to be a bit of a difficult week for him, because the media will pick up on that, and the media do try to stir the pot as such, to kind of really give it some clickbait for them, to get people watching their videos or their TikTok or their Twitter or their news or whatever it might be, their TV program and stuff. So yeah, a big win for Ange as well, and that'll be a little bit of a relief going into what's going to be some more difficult games with Newcastle and the scum to come. It's going to be a harder couple of weeks there, and the fact that we've kind of got some points on the board really kind of starts to build that little bit of belief, and that's what I'm hoping. So anyway, look, that's all the positives from the game. I have to say, this was Everton. Got smashed 3-0 last week against Brighton. Only 14 players to pick from, and so on and so forth. And they're having a torrid time. They seem to be a team that ends up down there every season, battling to give themselves something decent to build on. And so everyone will say, you've got to beat Everton. It's a must win. They're rubbish, blah, blah, blah. And it is only, match week 2. So the fact that we not getting over emotional about last week's draw, you can't get over hyped about this week's win, even though it was a good win. You just have to take it for what it is. It's one game, it's 3 points. We move on to the next one, and you build from there. And as I said, the next couple of games are going to be a bit more difficult potentially. And it would have been good to have had those 6 points. But if we're dominating games the way we are, then you've got to believe that you can compete with them teams. Newcastle maybe be a bit tighter, and we've got a terrible record up there, obviously, especially of recent times. So we want to be playing our best football and taking our opportunities, because what we don't want is that to become another Stamford Bridge where we can't ever get a result. So big match there. But listen, you can only beat what's put in front of you. So whilst I acknowledge that it was only Everton this week, and we think they may well be whipping boys for this season and potential relegation people, a win's a win. We take the 3 points, we move on. We don't get overexcited. We just take it for what it is, as another game, and we go from there. For me personally, I just like to, with regards to Everton, I personally don't dislike Everton. They're not one of the clubs that I really can't stand. I actually have a little bit of a soft spot for Everton. I think they've always been a little bit like Tottenham, in the fact that they've got really successful neighbours who also play in red, who rub their noses in it all the time. But they are a club with a history, not a recent history, obviously. So there are some similarities in there. The only thing for them is that, like us, they've had lots and lots of false dawns. And the only difference, I guess, is the fact that we've had the stability of Levy and ENIC, if you can call it that, whereas they're kind of going through some really difficult ownership times and stuff. New stadium coming for them, and maybe that will give them the platform to try to come back. So again, listen, I personally don't want to see Everton get relegated, and I do think that they will start to improve. I think once they get their team back and their players back, I think they will start to improve, and they'll give some teams a run for their money. So I think we played them a good time, and hopefully they'll go forward from there. But listen, for me, I just want to call out our performance yesterday. I thought it was a really good performance, dominating, getting the goals. The second goal was obviously really important. Some good performances from Romero, from Maddison, from Son, from Bissouma, from Kulu. So some good performances in there. Again, I forgot to call out Odegaard, who looked like he had a decent game. One big mistake in there, which really worried me. How many times have we seen that, where a player plays a pass blind into the middle? Oh, honestly, my heart was going at that point. But listen, Odegaard had a decent game, played well, was involved in an awful lot. So you can see what the manager sees in him. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, even the substitutes came on, all did their job, all did what they needed to do, and that's important. And maybe we're building up that confidence and building up their abilities and their understanding of the Premier League. Anyway, listen, I've waffled on long enough. Thanks for watching this video. I will be back on Tuesday doing a video for Shooting the Shit, the new feature that I've been doing with some friends. I've got some feedback on that, some good, some bad. I get it, but it'd be good if you guys could watch it, give us your views. Hopefully, we're gonna get better on that. It's available on audio as well, through Spotify and Amazon Music and Apple and all those good things. I've managed to put the audio out, so you can't get away from us. You can actually listen to us whilst you're out walking the dog. So again, need you to support that. Give us some likes, some comments on that, just so as we can see how we can improve it and get you guys engaged. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Up the Spurs.